like pound in vitamin C tablets or something like that, at some point in time, your body's gonna be like, hey, enough of that shit. And it's just not going to absorb any of it. But we got Jerry. What is bioavailability? This one's funny because this became such a big buzzword in the last few years, and it has its place, but it's a weird thing to research because a lot of times what you'll find with it is only really discussions over supplements or medication. And supplements, I understand. Medication, not so much because it's not really my field. Like if you look it up, you'll see a lot of stuff about like first pass metabolism and keeping it totally clear, right over my fucking head. I tried doing a little bit of research into that because it was something that I looked into so much back in the day that I looked back into it and I was like, what the hell does this even mean? And I was like, okay, well, this doesn't seem relevant, but I could be totally wrong. So if I'm wrong, please toss that in the comments or message me and say, Andrew, you're a big dummy. Here's what first pass metabolism is. But what is bioavailability as far as I understand it? It's basically how able is your body to break down and absorb the nutrients from whatever it is that you are putting in your mouth. So a common example is carrots. It's good for your eyesight. It has beta carotene in it, yada, yada. Well, if you're eating raw carrots, you actually don't absorb that much of the vitamin A in it. However, if you cook it, or you have a fat source like butter with it, you actually absorb a lot more of it. There's this weird, there's something called the Entourage Effect that you guys can look into if you are like really curious about this, but it's basically just about how different things work better in a more holistic way. So think of it like, if all we did was eat amino acids, butter, and sugar, yeah, theoretically there's protein, carbs, and fat, but we're gonna feel fucking terrible. And then the same thing can be said with, all the vitamins and stuff. If you're just taking them in their pure form of pure vitamins and minerals, you're still not going to feel great. So actually absorbing them through real food. But I'm going on to a few tangents now. Another example is turmeric doesn't actually absorb that well unless you put black pepper in it. But then there's also the matter of there's some stuff with bioavailability that I've seen where it is your ability to, or your body's need to actually absorb something. So it kind of being on the other end of it, like, well, of course you're not going to absorb this. You don't need it right now. And I don't know how much validity there is to that. It kind of makes sense that our body's not going to let us absorb something that we might not be needing at that moment, or maybe we have too much of it. I mean, like people say you can only hold so much vitamin C. So, theoretically, if you're just like pound in vitamin C tablets or something like that, at some point in time, your body's gonna be like, hey, enough of that shit. And it's just not going to absorb any of it. But yeah, it's an interesting subject. And it's one that as much as I feel I know about it, I still don't feel totally confident on it. But if I were going to sum it up, it's essentially just how much of this can your body actually absorb and how much of it do you need to absorb? And then just kind of the modifications around that. Okay, can you do things to make it absorb better? Like people always do that with supplements. Oh, this protein absorbs in blah, 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 blah minutes and gets shuttled into your muscles and protein synthesis, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I suppose that could be a more layman version of bioavailability. Hey guys, if you like this clip, please share this out to someone else who needs to hear it. And if you want to hear more, there's actually a whole podcast and a whole YouTube channel. So you can go find us at Pride Fitness and Movement on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you find your podcasts. Go give us a follow and we'll see y'all later.